Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Dr. Tarpan Shah and today we are diving into the essential topic in physiotherapy, that is outcome measures in cardiopulmonary physiotherapy. This tool helps us to track the patient's progress, evaluate the treatment effectiveness and to improve the clinical decision making. So let's get started. The first is the outline of the topic. Okay, so first we'll see what is the outcome measure. Second, how outcome measure helps physiotherapist. Why we need to know about outcome measures in physiotherapy. And 4 examples of outcome measure in physiotherapy. For example, in case of the cardiopulmonary physiotherapy, we need to have an idea about the outcome measures like pulmonary function and respiratory measures, exercise capacity and functional test, dyspnea and functional disability measure, cardiovascular parameters, muscle strength and endurance, patient reported outcome measures and quality of life and psychological measures. Let's see the section 1. What is outcome measure or the outcome measures? This in physiotherapy are standardized tools used by the physiotherapist to assess and evaluate the effectiveness of intervention, and outcome measure they help us in monitoring the progress, track the changes in patient's condition over a period of time. Second, evaluating the treatment effectiveness, seeing if a specific intervention is working or not. Third, communicate with the patient and healthcare team, that means sharing the patient progress, and enhancing the clinical decision making, that means making informed treatment choices. So these 4 are the measures that how the outcome measures are helping us. Section number 2, why do we need outcome measures? So as a physiotherapist, we must use the outcome measure for one, evidence-based practice, ensuring that the treatments are backed by the research. Second, accountability, showing measurable results to the patient and healthcare teams. The third one, quality improvement, that means to identifying areas where better treatment strategies are needed. Fourth one, patient-centered care, focusing on patient-reported outcomes and quality of life. Now we'll see the section number 3, the key outcome measures in cardiopulmonary physiotherapy. So the first one is your pulmonary function and respiratory measure. So a spirometry can be used and it can measure the lung volumes and airflow, including forced vital capacity, forced expiratory volume in 1 second, FEV1 by FVC ratio, peak expiratory flow rate. So this 4 you can use it as a outcome measure. The other are maximal pressure, for example maximal inspiratory pressure MIP, second maximal expiratory pressure MEP. This both basically assesses the respiratory muscle strength, particularly in patients with neurological disorders. Now what are the other respiratory measures that can be taken as an outcome measure? So the first one is your peak cough flow, which evaluates the cough effectiveness. Second, arterial blood gas analysis, which is an invasive procedure, but it provides insights into the oxygenation and carbon dioxide levels in the blood. And you can take different ABG parameters as outcome measure like your pH, PO2, PaCO2, HCO3, etc. Now we'll see the section number 4, that is exercise capacity and functional test. So the 6-minute walk test, American Thoracic Society 2002, they have given the guidelines, very standard, test and routinely performed in our clinical setup. It measures the walking distance in 6 minutes and it is reflecting the functional capacity and endurance. The second one, the incremental shuttle walk test, ISWT. It involves walking back and forth between the 2 cones at progressively increasing the speed, assessing the exercise tolerance. The third one, cardiopulmonary exercise testing, CPET. It involves exercising on a treadmill or stationary bike while monitoring the heart rate, oxygen consumption and carbon dioxide production. The fourth one, the 1-minute sit to stand test. Okay, 1 MSTS. It measures the number of times an individual can stand up from a chair in a 1 minute, and it basically assesses the lower body strength and mobility. Now we'll see the section number 5, that is dyspnea and functional disability measure. The first outcome measure you can take among this is modified Borg scale. So this subjective scale measures the dyspnea intensity using 0 to 10 scale, where 0 represents no dyspnea and 10 represents maximal dyspnea. And conventional or the traditional Borg scale, that starts from 6 and ends with 20. So you can take both of them. Okay, the modified one is from 0 to 10. The second one, Medical Research Council Dyspnea Scale, MRC Dyspnea Scale. This is a subjective scale used to assess the breathlessness in patients with chronic lung disease, and again it is ranging from 0, that means no dyspnea, to grade 4, that means severe dyspnea. The third one, that is your BDI and TDI, that means baseline and transitional dyspnea index. The BDI measures the baseline dyspnea, while the TDI assesses changes in dyspnea over a period of time, providing valuable tool for monitoring the treatment effects. Now we'll see the section number 6, that is about cardiovascular parameters. So the first one is your heart rate variability, HRV. So HRV reflects the variation in time between the heartbeats and is a marker of autonomic nervous system function, providing insights into the cardiovascular health. The second parameter is your blood pressure. This is inclusive of your SBP, systolic blood pressure, DBP, diastolic blood pressure, mean blood pressure, and pulse blood pressure. Okay, the third one is your ECG, that means electrocardiogram. ECG monitoring detects abnormality in heart rhythm and electrical activity, which can be helpful in diagnosing cardiovascular condition. The fourth one, VO2 Max and METs. VO2 Max is the maximum amount of oxygen an individual can consume during the exercise, representing the aerobic capacity, while METs measure the energy expenditure of different activities. Now we'll see the section number 7, that is about muscle strength and endurance. So handheld dynamometer is very commonly used, and it measures the muscle strength in various muscle groups, for example limb muscle, especially your hand grip strength. The second one, quadriceps and diaphragm strength. So assessing the quadriceps strength using a dynamometer or manual muscle testing, while MIP and MEP measure the diaphragm strength, which we have seen in the previous few slides. The third one, fatigue resistance test. So this test involves repetitive activities such as squats, stair climbing, or arm raises, evaluate the muscle endurance and fatigue resistance. Now we'll see the section number 8, that is about patient reported outcome measures. So the first one is St. George Respiratory Questionnaire, SGRQ. It measures the overall health status, symptoms, and impact on daily life of patients with the chronic disease. The second one, Chronic Respiratory Disease Questionnaire, CRQ. This is another widely used instrument for assessing the health status, symptoms, and functional limitations in patients with chronic lung diseases. The third one, COPD assessment test, CAT test. It is a short patient administered questionnaire for measuring the symptoms and impact of COPD on daily life. The fourth one, Kansas City Cardiomyopathy Questionnaire, KCCQ. It evaluates the health status, symptoms, and functional limitations in patients with heart failure. The fifth one, Minnesota Living with Heart Failure Questionnaire. So MLHFQ. This measures the impact of heart failure on quality of life and daily activities, including physical, emotional, and social aspects. Number 6, Hospital Anxiety and Depression Scale, HADS. It assesses the anxiety and depression levels in patients with cardiorespiratory conditions, highlighting the importance of mental health in being overall well. Let's see the section number 9, that is about quality of life and psychological measures. So the first one is SF36, short form health survey. This measures the overall health status, including the physical and mental health, social functioning, and general health perceptions. Number 2, WHO quality of life, WHOQOL-BREF. It evaluates the different domains of quality of life, including physical health, psychological health, and social relationship and environment. So what is the conclusion of this outcome measures in cardiopulmonary physiotherapy topic? Incorporating the outcome measure in physiotherapy practice is crucial for delivering the effective, evidence-based and patient-centered care. If you found this video useful, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel Tarpan Shah for more insightful content in physiotherapy. Comment below if you have any question and I will be happy to answer them. And thank you for watching this video. See you in the next video.